very much indeed. Brothers and sisters, thank you very much. I promise you I won't be speaking for more than 5 minutes because Arthur said if you only do 5 minutes, he'll only do 2.5 hours. So thank you, Arthur. Thank you very much, Arthur. But listen, you know, it's so ironic. It's so ironic because I remember when the strike was on and we used to phone our full-time official in Wrexham to come and join us round the corner about a mile away on the site of the Wrexham bypass. We could never get him here. I phoned Arthur to come here. He's come here from France today because he's still what he's always been, a solidarity man. He's back to the workers, never bloody through. But it's amazing, we're here. I remember the day that the trial started, and as Terry said, there was thousands of police there. I've got the photograph. Thousands of police there outside the courtroom. And I turned up and they wouldn't let me in. And I'm bloody sorry they did. Because when I went in there, I got 6 years. Tessie Warren got 9 years. And the other lads got 3 and whatever. Okay, they were reduced on appeal to 3 and 2. But what a bloody farce. We're here now, asking for justice. And who are we appealing to? The House of Commons. The biggest fucking robbers in the country. Payment for everything. Movies and I'm not even in them. But the biggest one of the lot was on the telly today on Sky News. You probably haven't heard it. Hey, David Blunkett, he's claimed for a motorbike and a skateboard. But ladies and gentlemen, let's be serious for a minute. And I will only speak for a few minutes because we're preaching to the converted here. But what I do want you to know, I just want you to know 1 or 2 of the facts why I'm still here. In 2 months' time, I'm 70 years of age. And it's been a long, long struggle. It's been 30-odd years. And the reason we haven't given it up because we've been persecuted in one way or another. And not only have we been persecuted, our children have been persecuted. And even now, some of our grandchildren still get the finger pointed at them and say, aren't you the grandson or the granddaughter of that flying picket? That's you. Because the myth is still out there that we were like marauding animals when we went round these sites. No one has told the truth, and we need to be told the truth. You need to know the truth. I don't know if you know all the facts and figures, but all I know is this. Why did they hold the trial here in Shrewsbury? Why was it here? Why didn't they hold it in Wolverhampton? We were just as near to Wolverhampton. Why didn't they pick on the building workers who were on the coaches from Liverpool? Or the lads from Chester? Because I'll tell you why they picked on us, because we were from the Wrexham and North Wales area, and we weren't as organised as the major cities, so they thought we've got a soft target. And let me tell you something else that you might know. I was asked to be a prosecution witness because I haven't always been a left-winger. So they said to me, come here now, yeah, there's the scope. And I said, hang on. I said, I was elected by the lads in Wrexham to be their mouthpiece. And I used to go to the meetings at the Bull and Stirrup, and 9 times out of 10, I probably voted in the minority of 1. But when a decision was made, we took it and we stuck to it. So when they knew I wouldn't be a prosecution witness, they said, well, we're going to charge you. And they did. And that's fine, because I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way. But I tell you what they do. Now listen to this. We live in a so-called democracy, and they're supposed to play by the rules. And there's policemen out there, and I want these police lads to listen, because they get involved in this without them knowing about it. Our telephones were tapped in the 1970s. And how do I know about it? Because it came out in the trial, but in a very odd way. Because Tessie Warren said, God, I wish he was here today, he'd be so proud of this today if he was here. Tessie Warren said, my phone's tapped. And Morris Drake, the QC, the prosecuting counsel, said, don't be ridiculous. We don't tap, we don't bug people's phones in this country. Tessie said, well, you bugged mine. And he said, well, what makes you think that? And Tessie said, because I haven't paid the fucking bill for 2 years. That's how I know. That's how I know. I mean, commonplace, you believe me. It's commonplace. And another thing you might know, because I'm only trying to give you some facts here. If you know about the case, you can read about it in the history book. But honestly, some of the facts are absolutely amazing. There were secret deals done everywhere. And when I went down to the archives, we made a programme called One Life. We went down to the National Archives to get my files, because they should have been released under the 30-year law. And there's a new word they've introduced now, haven't they? It's called a redaction. Redaction. People think all their expenses now are redacted. What they mean is blanked out. So when I went to get my files, it had things like this. On the front page, and you've got to go in, by the way, you get locked in a glass room, and a fella sits there next to you, and you've got to put these cotton gloves on to turn your own files over. And on the first page of mine, in big red letters, it had confidential. And you turn that page over, in big black letters, it's got private. And you turn that page over, and then it's got things like, Len Murray of the Trade Union Council was approached by, and all the names are blanked out. Then you turn that over, and then it's got, Harold Wilson was approached by, and all that's blanked out. And it goes right on to the very last paragraph when it says, all this information is withheld in the interest of national security. I could understand if it said in the interest of social security, but not that. But ladies and gentlemen, as I say, I'm only going to speak for a few minutes, but we actually spent more time in jail under the Labour Party than we did under the Tories. And I challenge Jack Straw, because I said this on the radio yesterday, I think Jack Straw is a coward, because he's got it in his power to release us, to have all the facts made, not only the Shrewsbury pickets. You can get the Hillsborough boys, 96 people got killed there, he won't release that. Michael Shields, a young lad from Liverpool, who's been in jail for 4 years, although the man who perpetrated the crime has confessed. It's absolutely ludicrous, and we've got to go to them and ask them for justice. Well, I don't think that we're going to get it. And unfortunately, the sad part is this. What are we going to do when the next election comes? Because there's no one to vote for. There's no one to vote for. The right wing are going to swing in. It's going to be a landslide. You mark my bloody word for it, honest to God. But anyway, I'm going to finish now, because as I say, you know the facts and figures. Things that went on were dreadful. But one of the things that you may not know is that when we were in prison, we got treated like shit. And I didn't expect anything else, because we wouldn't soldier. We wouldn't wear clothes, and we wouldn't work, and we used to crap on the floor in the cell. We never, ever, ever rang that bell once while we were in prison. We never, ever, ever once closed our own cell doors, because we were political prisoners and we wanted political prisoner status. And as they said in them days, we don't have political prisoners in this country. What a load of crap. There's loads of political prisoners in this country, only they're not charged as political bloody prisoners. But the worst thing for me was, they used to try and get us to take this thing to help us to sleep. And I took it once. And I had the 100-yard stare. It was terrible. I don't know what it was, but Desi took it, because Desi had a lot of pressure. They gave him a far worse time than me for some particular reason. I don't know why, maybe because of the sense of humour. I was from Liverpool or whatever, I don't know. But Desi got a terrible time. And they gave him this stuff. They refused him his own glasses, so he could hardly read. They refused to let him have his own shoes, so he was bloody crippled. And I remember one night, we were getting transferred, because they used to come to our cells at midnight and say, put your stuff in a pillowcase, throw us in a van and take us all over the place. And our families didn't know where we were. And I remember we were in one of the London prisons one time, and he had an abscess in his ear, and he was in pain, in real pain, and it was bleeding or whatever it is. And he shouted through the door to the fella, can you just get someone to have a look at this? And the fella said, if you shout out here again, he said, I'll give you something to moan about. He said, I'll be in here with that baton, you bastard, he said. And that's the sort of treatment he got. And I don't know whether you know this, ladies and gentlemen, but Jesse Warren died from drug-induced Parkinson's. Drug-induced Parkinson's from the treatment he received in jail. And so he prosecuted them when he came out of jail. And he got compensated a few thousand quid for what he'd done to him, but he had to sign a disclaimer to say that it wasn't through the way they treated him. What else could it be? He hadn't been anywhere else. He'd been locked up. He never worked after he come out of jail. He was a bloody shell. He was finished. He destroyed him. And I'll never forget the courage that lad had. And if I live to be till 140, I'll fight to clear his name, my name, and the rest of the lads' name. And thank you for your support.